Hello and welcome to Nirmal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Mr. Gaurav Davda, Head Corporate Finance and Strategic Initiatives at Jindal Worldwide, joining in. Welcome to the show, Gaurav, and a pleasure as always to speak to you and get insights from you. Gaurav, my first question coming to you is, if you have to actually sum up the last 12 to 18 months, how has the journey been so far?
Well, in simple terms, it's been one hell of a roller coaster. I think the thrill, the fear, and then the thrill that you get on going on a roller coaster. I think it simply sums up what we've all been through. I think both on the personal health as well as business front. I think all of us have faced that. Specifically on the business front, I think from being completely shut down way back in 2020 as a non-essential, if you remember, that's what the government had categorized some businesses as, to coming back full steam and in a matter of a year recording the highest quarterly revenue year quarter after quarter that the company has ever seen. I think that just says enough about what the times that we live in. And I don't think that anyone was prepared for something like this. I have to say that a confluence of factors actually helped or shaped this thing. Uh, I think it was the entire China plus one, and I'm sure we'll discuss that later. But even besides that, I think the core domestic demand, export demand, ability, unfortunately, the inability of smaller players to get back on their feet fast enough, resulting in the unorganized player losing business, and market share to players like us in the organized space. I think that's, pretty much sums up where we are. And of course, it's been profitable growth, so it's not been cash burn growth. So I think that's the positive silver lining that I take from all this. Obviously, on the humanitarian side, we've seen a very bad impact for a lot of people who've lost their near and dear ones, and continue to do so. We don't know how these waves will pan out for our kids, for our parents, for our grandparents. But fingers crossed. I think we're hopefully towards the end of it.
Absolutely. And Gaurav, with this, now if you have to look at the next 6 to 12 months, I mean, yes, we've seen another wave that has come in right now. How well prepared are we from the past experience? Do you think now it's going to be easier to beat any of these waves that are coming in from a business perspective?
We've all learned to live with COVID on the personal front. And that is no different, as we've been gotten accustomed to it on the business front. I think today, COVID, when it started off, was supposedly a life-taking disease. Yes, it did take a lot of lives, but I think with the ongoing mutations that keep changing, I think the intensity has reduced. As you are aware, and most of us have read in the newspapers and the media articles, Spain and parts of UK have started requesting their citizens to treat it like a common flu. So I think as long as we don't see potential mutations being extremely harmful on the health side, COVID or no COVID, I think the India machine is chugging along as strong as can be. We have seen record numbers from a ton of companies. Yes, of course, margin pressures notwithstanding, but we've seen record numbers. We've seen demand. We've seen increase in wages from the bottom of the pyramid because of lack of availability of good labor, skilled labor. So right from the bottom of the pyramid, and I'm a strong believer that if that part of the pyramid starts moving up, there's only one way for consumption to grow, and that's one way up. So as I said, we are very well prepared. I feel I hope I'm right in this and not heavily off point. But I think we are very well prepared both as business owners as well as individuals to treat any COVID related scares that come at us.
Right. And overall, again, from the different segments that we operate in, what's the outlook looking like now? Because people have started moving out, in fact. Again, that demand revival has started to open up in the sector that we operate in as well. So between the different segments of business, where are you seeing higher traction?
So that is one thing that really for us as Jindal Worldwide hasn't changed. Denim continues to be the dominant contributor to our group top line, contributing to almost 80% of the business. Today, happy to say that with the advent of a work from home or a casual work attire environment that has forcefully been inculcated in a lot of us who have the privilege, I can assure you, denim is no longer just an evening wear or a weekend wear. I think today a lot of people are even using denim, while they're working in their offices or even, when they're at home. And I think globally also we are seeing the casual wear picking up in a big way. We are seeing that as exports, which used to be zero in terms of revenue contribution for us about 3.5 years back. Today is about 27 to 28% of our top line. Now that says a lot for someone who has a base like ours, where we are clocking about 400 odd crores. Again, because I'm in the silent period, I can't get into specifics, but give and take about 400 odd crores of export revenue on an annualized basis. Now that is something that it's not heard of very easily for someone to build it so strong, and it just shows the dominant position that we as Jindal hold in the denim space, both in India as well as globally.
Right. And overall, right now, between the domestic market and the exports, where are you seeing better consumption and better demand?
So earlier on, till last quarter, we were seeing massive demand on the export side. Or till August, September of last year, calendar year, we were seeing huge amount of demand on the export side. I don't know if I mentioned it last time in our interaction, but we were sold out for a better part of the next 60 days in terms of our export orders. So I wasn't able to meet up with demand. It was that strong. However, I think what we've seen from August, September of last year, with things returning to quasi normal, if I were to use that term, domestic demand, to all our surprises, has actually jumped up tremendously. Offtake is good, inventory days are low. We are seeing utilization levels fairly decent and maintaining. And also, we've undertaken a capex program purely to be ready for the next round of demand, that uptick that we are seeing. But to answer your question, yes, exports is growing faster than domestic, but the domestic market, which had slumped in demand for the past many years, which only got accentuated with the COVID in 2020, has come back in a very strong way, and we are seeing growth across both lines of business.
Right. So overall, are you expecting, say, the next, in terms of key milestones, if we have to look at, I'm sure we can't talk about the immediate future because of silent period, but from a 3-year perspective, what are the key milestones that we are looking at?
We'll continue to grow at 2x to 2.5x underlying industry. Underlying industry is growing anywhere at 7 to 9%. I think we will go 2 to 2.5x that. We hope to reach, give and take, about $500 million of revenue in the next 3 years, from around 2,200 crores of where we are on an annualized basis this year. Margins, again, because we are increasingly seeing larger players getting better market share, it's working out for integrated players like us. We're able to capture some of that margin and that business. And I think from a margin perspective, over the next 3 years, we hope to move to mid-teens margin numbers as well. I think that's on the EBITDA front. Having said that, we're also undergoing a capex program, which I have disclosed in the past. Phase 1 is about 350 crores. Financing for that is more or less tied up, and work is on full-fledged. We'll commission that. That is to enhance our spinning capacity. And I think starting end of this calendar year, we will go ahead with our phase 2 expansion, which will again enhance our in-house spinning capacity as well as our front end.
Right. And right now, what's the kind of capacity utilization we are working with?
So blended, we will work at about 76, 77%.
Okay. And once we are looking to add capacity as well, where will that number be?
It will move slightly higher because, again, we are adding spinning capacity to basically have a fully integrated offering. We are not in the business of selling yarn. We are consumers of our own spinning output. So for us, the minute, as much as, and today we have only 30% of our capacity in-house. All the rest of the 70% is getting done through outside job work. So we are in a fairly sweet spot as far as that is concerned. The idea of putting that excess capacity on the spinning side to start off with immediately is only two reasons. One is because to capture the conversion margin. Two, there are certain specialized high-end yarns which we're needing to import from places like Turkey, etc. Because we are moving up the value chain from commoditized denim to high fashion denim, which basically means that I'm no longer only catering to the products which contribute to over 120 to 140 rupees a meter. We are even today with 600 odd SKUs, our product range has moved from a band of about 120 rupees a meter to 300 rupees a meter. Now, for obviously the higher end fabrics, we need higher end yarns. So some of our spinning capacity will be required for the higher end yarns which we need to produce the high end fashion. And I think this is also driven by the export demand that we are getting, where we are getting a lot of premium denim orders. So that's precisely where I see the business growing, and why I'm
Right.
confident of the margin expansion.
Right. And from your own, Gaurav, lastly, any policy decisions or any expectations coming in from the budget for the sector?
No, I think, see, the technical textile piece has already got its due. I think the PLI has been announced. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's been ratified by the parliament also. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I think it has. We're hoping that, given that the fact that we as textile owners are, or textile business owners are extremely high in terms of contribution to GDP as well as contribution to the overall employment generation in the country. I think the government's done a lot for us. I can't take that away from them. But I'm only hoping that schemes such as the PLI, which are slightly longer tenure in its benefits, are announced even for even for natural fibers, which is the category we fall in. Not only man-made fibers, and hopefully there are some incentives around that, because, as you know, we're working on historically we've been working on single-digit margins to low double-digit margins, and we want to increase this. We want to make sure that the overall growth of everyone associated with the sector is there on a global landscape. So I think, hoping that something of similar PLIs are announced for the natural fiber business segments as well.
Right. All right, Gaurav. I think it looks like a good roadmap from here on as well. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. As always, a pleasure to speak to you and get insights. Good luck, stay safe, and speak to you soon again.
Thank you. Good luck to you too as well, and stay safe.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.